Now, many people would possibly rightly think that reggae and iOS aren't exactly bedfellows, but I'm going to show you something that will hopefully buck that. So I've got a track open. I've opened my Bluebird drum kit, and I'm going to set a tempo 70. That'll do, slow reggae. So I'm going to record a drum rhythm. Now, reggae, for slow reggae, you generally wouldn't have anything on beat 1. I know that sounds a bit weird, but it'll become clear on the drums anyway. Okay, so there's a few little issues with that, which I'm just going to go in. I'll just hit that tom accidentally at the start. You really want that, and you can see it there. You can see wrong instruments, as it were, if you just look very closely. Well, actually, most of those are in place. But now I want to quantize here to 1/16 swing. So I don't really want that first bass drum there either. I want the snare drum offbeat to be on its own. So okay, and then at the end I want to tidy up that ending bit really. Maybe take that last hi-hat away. So this is the end of the loop. I think to have that hi-hat actually on the beat itself. There we go. If you've played it in, obviously you're going to have to check the quantization to make sure that the iPad has put things in the right place. I want that on the quaver. Oh, it is already. Okay. Yeah, I just want that hi-hat to be a bit later. See what happens there. There we go, that's it. Okay, there's my drums. Now, the bass sounds on GarageBand are very good, of course. We all know that all the sounds here are immensely high quality. But I want my bass sound to be quite dark and a bit bassy, but rather than sort of a very balanced sound of the P bass. Oh, it's okay, but I'm just going to record something and then I'm going to start playing with the equalization just to get that bass to sound more reggae. Okay, so there's a bass line played in. Now I'm just going to quantize that one as well to 16th swing. 16th swing heavy. There we go. So, assuming that works fine with we'll listen to it in a minute anyway, we're recording the other parts. I'm just going to put a compressor on that bass, which it seems to already have anyway, so that it's always strong regardless of the note being played. But in the EQ pane, I'm going to take some of the treble off. The very lowest bass off, so it doesn't kill your speakers, but I'm going to boost it about 70, and let's see what happens there. So, if you're listening to this on a pair of speakers or headphones, you'll be able to hear that. Computer speakers, you might not hear the difference between what I've just done, but I'm just going to take the track volume down a bit because bass has got a lot of energy. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is to put some guitars on. Now, the skank guitar, the skanky sort of... The guitars are quite present here, and actually there's some echo on that one, which I'm actually going to remove in a minute. But I'm just going to put the guitar part down. Okay, so there's one or two notes in there that I've got to adjust. So first of all, I'm just going to go quantization, and this time it's straight eighths. Ding, ding, ga, da. There's nothing different there. There's no swing component to that. So let's have a quick look in edit mode and just make sure I cut out my chords that didn't work. There we go. There's a... Oh, there we go. You might need to open the edit window in order to fully get these notes to move. Oh. And just looking through, there we go. I'm not going to correct those bottom notes there because it provided a bit of variation there, really. Just have a... Okay, now how am I going to get reggae to swing like it is on the records? Well, there is a solution in the form of the Hammond organ, which is one of the oldest electronic synths. Now what we've got here is the classic Hammond with the drawbars on the left here. But I want to take the percussion sound off. The chorus can stay on maybe, take the distortion away for the moment, and close all the drawbars except the first one and a little bit of the last one. Now what you do with this is to play offbeat sixteenths. There we go. That's suddenly brought the drums and the guitar together, and it's sort of glued it in place. So quantization, swing 16th heavy. There we go. Now that guitar is obviously it doesn't sound really tight yet, but there are things that you can do with this. Similar if you watch my drum video where you can put a sound through a guitar amp that's actually built in here. You can't do it with the software sound here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to solo out the guitar track, and I'm going to send this song. I'm going to record the audio. Now it's called My Song 14. Let's have G minor reggae guitar instead, so that I can Jim reggae guitar. Okay, G minor reggae guitar. So I'm going to select that now and then share as a song, keep it uncompressed, the highest possible quality, share it, save to files. There we go, so it's exporting that at the moment. Now, G minor reggae guitar.wav is going to be added to my song, so that when I go back into G minor reggae guitar now, there'll be a little number 1 above your loop thing here. So if I click on the loop, you can see in amongst all the other things that I've got G minor reggae guitar. Click and hold and drag into your working space. Now if I de-solo that now and mute it instead, my guitar is now an audio file instead. Now I can then put this through a guitar amp. Now I've actually jumped the gun slightly here because this has got reverb on it, which I ideally don't want, because I want the option to be able to add it or not, as the case may be. So I'm going to delete that track and actually just quickly do that again for you. So guitar, take the reverb and the echo off so it's dry. There we go. And then I'm going to send that as an audio file. So once again, my songs, select G minor reggae guitar, share, song, share. Now this is going to overwrite that file that I've just replaced, G minor reggae guitar.wav. Replace. You can keep both of them if you like, which is quite handy. So done. Now go back into my song. Go back into loops. G minor reggae guitar.wav should now have no reverb on it at all. There we go. Add a guitar amp track, as if you were going to record something. I'm just going to turn the gain down of that and the reverb up a bit. There we go. I'm just going to take that phaser off that was by default there, and then go back to my main window and drag it onto my guitar amp track, and here we go. Now, while it's obviously not a guitarist playing, I think you'll agree that that does sound a little bit crunchier for the reggae sound anyway. Now, ideally, what you would do is you would have a second guitar part that's got a different sound, and then you could pan them slightly to get that stereo sort of skanking sound. But what we could do is we could use the original guitar track and just change the sound from classic clean to maybe roots rock. There we go. Let's see how that works. So we can use the original track, perhaps. There we go. That spread that sort of skank guitar, because I put this one on the left, this one on the right, and now you've got this sort of free space. I'm just going to take the reverb off that amp for a second, just so you can hear those two spread guitar sounds. In fact, they're very slightly delayed with respect to each other, which I like. I think that really works. Okay, so other things that you would use perhaps on a reggae tune would be the clavinet. If I go into here, smooth clav. I'll take that sort of auto wah sound off and put a little bit of drive on. Put the damper on a little bit, so it sounds a little bit less present. It sounds less like a sort of disco clav and more like a sort of reggae style one. Okay, maybe a little bit busy there. Go easy with the amount that you put on, but I think I might just take that down in the mix, and it may gel okay. Now, one thing that's really almost essential with reggae is to have some percussion. And there is a coffee shop. Let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, great. Just those little hits can really, really... Let's take the drive up a little bit so I can hear what I'm recording. Well, there you go. There's some percussion there. Now, if you can, it's best to play this in as accurate as you can, because you don't need to quantize it, which gives it that sort of human feel. So a very important thing in reggae is to really get that sort of groove right. So you may need to adjust your drums a little bit with those hi-hats to be a little bit tighter and a little bit more sort of stylistic. But there we go. There is a starting point, certainly, for putting a reggae tune down.